Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite MLB home run predictions for today. We're talking Thursday, June 5th. A little bit of a different background traveling this weekend, so you're going to see this for the next couple days. But I'm going to have 4 MLB home run picks for you guys to lock in for today's MLB betting slate. We got a pretty juicy day in terms of weather for home runs, so hopefully we have a better day than yesterday. Home runs were down across the board, and that continued for me as well. Did not get any of my 3 guys to hit a home run. Mike Trout, not really even close. Acuna, Royce Lewis, not really any of them even close. If you play HRR, I believe all 3 cashed, but none of them really even came close to hitting a home run. So down 0.9 units yesterday. Continues this rut that we are in. Just cannot seem to get out of it. We are now down a little bit less than 5 units on the year, down 4.71 units, down about 7% ROI. It's just been bad for the last 6 weeks or so, but I remain confident that we will turn it around. Or if you guys are playing no home run parlays, then you're probably getting rich. But as for today, I'm going to have 4, like I mentioned, for you guys to lock in. Real quick, we'll go over the weather report. It's the typical games that have the best weather. Nats Park, hot, wind blowing out. The Athletics Stadium, minor league park, hot, with slight winds blowing out. Yankee Stadium, Steinbrenner Field, and then Dodger Stadium, all the best ones, and then some slight positive ones here as well. You compare that to Weather Edge. To Weather Edge, you see slight positive in the Braves, Diamondbacks, so that kind of agrees. You see positive in the Giants, Padres. Don't count that one. You don't ever want to bet at the Giants Stadium. It's terrible for home runs. A little bit of a disagreement at Dodger Stadium. Now, from a weather perspective, this Weather Edge has it a little bit below average, whereas the opposite for Ballpark Pal, so a little bit of a disagreement there. And then, but where there is agreement, positive in the Cubs, Nationals, and I do have 2 plays in that one actually. And then there's not enough data on the Rays one, but trust me, that's always going to be great from a weather perspective. So we can just get right into it. The first play that we're going to lock in here is Austin Riley. I am taking him to hit a home run, and he is best offered at plus 375 odds at Bet365. So that is play number 1, going up against Brandon Pfaadt of the Diamondbacks, who is not a great pitcher, who has just been getting rocked recently. And if you're a batter versus pitcher matchup, you'll see that Austin Riley actually has pretty good numbers against him as well. In 8 at-bats, 3 hits to 2 doubles. Now, nothing crazy for home runs specific, like only really 1 chance of hitting a home run in those at-bats, but he's hit him very hard. And Austin Riley has been decent at the plate. You look at the last 30 days, barrel rate for Austin Riley, 12.8% is fine. It's not amazing. But Brandon Pfaadt has just been getting absolutely rocked. I mean, you see over his last 30 days, 333 ISO rate to righties is disgusting. 381 WOBA is disgusting. 20% barrel rate and 17% strikeout rate. He's not striking anybody out. Now, he struggled both against righties and lefties. It's just been a lot worse against righties recently. You go to Game Day Insights, you look at him over his last 5 starts, 7 home runs allowed, 5 of them given up to right-handed hitters, which is very, very bad. And you want to look at the pitches that are getting rocked by righties. The 2 main ones is his sweeper and his sinker. I mean, his curveball too, but he barely throws that. And Austin Riley, as much as his power has kind of come and gone this year, he's very good numbers against both the sweeper and the sinker. So you go to the pitch mix. We're looking at the current season here. Go to the sweeper. In 29 at-bats, so a decent sample size, 26% barrel rate, 73% hard hit rate, and that strikeout rate is admittedly high at 31%, but that's okay because it means that he's swinging hard and he's swinging for the fences. That's why you see some pretty good percentage numbers because, strikeouts don't count towards that stuff, but still really, really good. With the most important thing here being that ground ball rate, only 10%. That's kind of been the issue with Austin Riley is ground balls, and that hasn't really been the case with the sweeper pitch specifically. And then you go to the sinker, the one that he throws 22% of the time, that's also been getting rocked. Similarly has very good numbers against the sinker. On the Braves, the best barrel rate on the Braves against the sinker, 16.7%. Now, you do have a little bit of the issue with the ground ball. He is hitting a lot of ground balls, but 29% fly ball rate isn't terrible, and 66% hard hit rate is pretty good. And then from an ISO rate perspective, 379, hitting sinkers specifically very, very hard. And also he's not striking out. So those two kind of go like the sweeper. He swings a little bit harder, strikes out more, but hits the ball in the air. Kind of the opposite with the sinker, where he makes contact a lot. Definitely hits more ground balls, but hits the ball incredibly hard. And Brandon Pfaadt has just been getting, like I said, absolutely annihilated. And, Austin Riley, you look at him, he hasn't been amazing this year, but he's kind of showing signs of coming out of that. I was going to look at Baseball Savant, but I don't have that up. But, a couple, like 3 hard hits yesterday, 2 each of the 2 days before. So Austin Riley for our first play, I do really like. Now, plays 2 and 3 are both players on the Cubs, so I'm going to kind of talk to them hand in hand. Number 1 is Pete Crow Armstrong. Number 2 is Michael Busch. They both have a really, really good matchup against the Nats pitcher Jake Irvin. First of all, to go to the odds, Pete Crow Armstrong is plus 390 at Bet365. And Michael Busch was 410 at Fanatics. That moved. You can still get it at plus 400 at FanDuel, which I would still take. So both of those numbers we're still good with. A 390 is what I got, what I sent it out, and then 400, like I said, I'm still good with. The biggest thing is going up against Jake Irvin. Now, on the entire season, Irvin is a huge dong guy to left-handed hitters. He's been better over his last 5 starts, but you look at the numbers looking into that, and nothing shows a pitcher that shouldn't be giving up home runs, right? Barrel rate, almost 10%. That's terrible. Hard hit rate, almost 54%. Line drive rate is high. Fly ball rate is high. He's allowing batters to hit 243. Sierra of 574 is truly, truly disgusting. Now, like the home run per 9 is low. Everything else is terrible. And then you go to Plate IQ. Let's just look at another source, make sure we're not overrating one source. We're looking at Jake Irvin last 30 days. Now, ISO rate, WOBA, those stats are low. But the ground ball rate is about average, or about his season average. Fly ball rate, about his season average. The line drive rate is actually up. And you look at all the other numbers, like hard hit rate, 64%, that's up. Barrel rate, 11.9%, that's a little bit down. But the strikeout rate is a lot, I'm looking at lefties. The strikeout rate's a lot lower, 15% on the year, 8% over the last 30 days. So nothing about his last 30-day starts is showing me, or 30 days of pitching his last 5 starts, is showing me that a pitcher that cannot give up a bunch of home runs is basically what I'm trying to say here. And, Pete Crow Armstrong and Michael Busch are both hitting pretty well recently, looking at the last 30 days here. 16.8% barrel rate for Michael Busch, 13.7% for Pete Crow Armstrong. I will say Michael Busch is more hot if you're looking at like the last week, and that favors Michael Busch, but on the season, PCA is obviously having a better year. And that's on the season. I'm going to look at the last 30 days. Now I'm showing you kind of what I meant. 20.9% on the last 30 days for Michael Busch, and then Pete Crow Armstrong still a respectable 14.3%. Now with Jake Irvin, the 2 pitches that get hit the hardest by the lefties is his curveball and his four-seam fastball. Those are the 2 pitches that really he struggles, that he gets hit the most on. And the reason why I kind of liked both Michael Busch and Pete Crow Armstrong, if you look at on the season against the curveball, Michael Busch has really, really good numbers. He's got the 2nd highest barrel rate on the team. A fly ball rate of 44% is pretty good. The hard hit rate of 44% is admittedly a little bit low, but in terms of ISO rate, he's got the best ISO rate against curveballs on the entire team. Now you look at PCA on the year, decent ISO rate, 389 is not bad, but you look at overall, like his numbers, barrel rate is lower than what we would like. Hard hit rate is lower than what we would like. But you look at the last 30 days, it looks a little bit better. That barrel rate goes up to 16.7%. All these numbers are green. So basically he struggled at the beginning of the year against curveballs, but has been better recently. And to kind of show you guys proof of that, you want to go to the Cubs, look at the curveball over the last month, and we see that PCA, he has 1 home run against the curveball over the last month, and that came just a couple, like maybe last week. It came on May 28th. Is when he hit that home run. So that's going to juice his recent numbers and kind of show you why the season isn't as good, because that's the only home run I think he's hit against a curveball all year. So it did come recently. Yeah, that's the only one. But on the flip side of that, he has incredible numbers against the four-seam fastball, like some of the best numbers on the team. Now, Michael Busch also has really good numbers against the four-seam fastball, but PCA, 5 home runs against the four-seamer. And you even go more recent than that over the last 30 days, like 13% barrel rate, 3 home runs hit off of it. Now, Michael Busch also really, really good against the four-seam fastball, which is kind of why you see the fact that I like both. And I think they're both obviously worth hitting. Again, it's one of the best weather games of the day, plus 20% according to Ballpark Pal, according to Weather Edge, plus 10%. So good to go on both of those scenarios. So plays number 2 and 3, Pete Crow Armstrong and Michael Busch. And then our fourth and final play is Brandon Lowe, taking him to hit a home run. He is best offered at plus 425 odds at Bet365. Now, the people that don't like taking a guy in back-to-back days aren't going to like Brandon Lowe, but it's not, there's a couple things. It's not just the fact that he hit a home run yesterday. It's the fact that he had 3 long flyouts. You know, he had against, there we go, I want to take away the pitch mix. He had double home run flyout. And look at the EV logs, 110.6, 107.4, 99.6. And it's not just yesterday. He's been hot. If you look at the last week, the last 2 weeks, the last month, really good numbers for Brandon Lowe. I mean, you see he's hit 6 home runs against righties over the last month. 11% barrel rate is fine. Roughly 50% hard hit rate is fine. Hitting a fly ball 1/3 of the time is also fine. The pitcher he's going up against, Jack Leiter, is a decent pitcher who's been getting smoked by lefties recently. You look at the last 5 starts for him, last 5 weeks. Home run every 17 at-bats against lefties. Almost 12% barrel rate, over 40% hard hit rate, and a super high fly ball rate. And that's going to be the biggest advantage for Brandon Lowe, especially when you look at Steinbrenner Field. It's got that short right field porch, so balls don't need to go as far for a lefty that pulls it when playing in Steinbrenner Field because that tiny right field porch. And the pitcher, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Jack Leiter against lefties, you know, the last 30 days has been, you know, a barrel rate 12%, 9.6% on the year, hard hit rate 51%. That's up on the entire year. And then, as I mentioned, Brandon Lowe, I mean, barrel rate over the last 30 days, 12.8%, fly ball rate above 30%, only hitting a ground ball 34% of the time. All those numbers are really, really good. So Brandon Lowe, that's why I like him. You look at him recently hitting the ball very, very hard. Good matchup, good weather, kind of checks all the boxes. Didn't really look into as much of the nerd stats because I know that, you know, in the comments people are saying that I can overthink things, which is definitely true. So it's tried to take a little bit of a step back, looked at good weather games, good pitching matchups, and who's hitting the ball relatively hard over the last week, 2 weeks, last month, stuff like that. But that's all we got. So 4 guys today. Austin Riley, plus 375 at Bet365. PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong, plus 390 at Bet365. Now, Michael Busch, you weren't able to get that 410 number, but you can get 400 at FanDuel, which is totally fine. And then Brandon Lowe was plus 425 at a bunch of books. Those are the 4 plays that I have for today. So we look at today, if we go 4-0, and I'm just putting a quarter unit on each of these bad boys. I'm not messing with the higher unit size even on the guys lower than plus 400 odds. We go 4-0 today, we will profit exactly 4 units, which wouldn't quite put us in the green on the year, but it'll go very long into getting us on our way. So let's hope we can just get one of these guys to mash to make money, multiple of these guys to mash to make lots of money. But that's all we got. I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the links in the description of the video and pin comment if you want to support the channel. Thanks for watching. Bet responsibly and have a good one.